Hello and welcome to the Residual Royalty Academy. If you're brand new here, this is the channel where I show you how to go from nothing, that's no passive income, to at least $1,000, $2,000, if not $10,000 or more in profit in passive income by publishing low and no content books on Amazon. Now these books are really easy to create and I've got a lot of resources on this channel, so just check out all the videos and you're going to learn a lot. But in today's video, I want to talk about the 3 best kind of investment ideas or themes for 2022 from my perspective and my opinion. Now, obviously, none of this is financial advice, and obviously you should do your own research before you go and YOLO into Tesla, for example, on 20x leverage. But the first one is going to be probably the highest return on investment. Arguably, number 2 may also be pretty high. And number 3 is more like defensive assets, but we're going to talk about that just a little bit later. So number 1 is investing in new books that you're going to publish on your KDP account or your ACX account or your income spec account or your Drafted Digital account, whatever account you've got that you're publishing on. Then books that you create and get written will often have a far higher return on investment than any stock or YOLO trade you could ever find. So for example, if you spend $1,000 on, let's say, a really high quality, high content book, so it could be in any niche, it could be like a DIY type book, it could be like a home and garden type book, could be a cookbook, it could be about psychology, it could be about like beekeeping, it could honestly be anything. And I've got videos on this channel and in my courses that show you how to find these niches and how to find the best niches, what criteria to look for, like what number of search results to look for, what bestseller rank to look for, how many reviews you need, all these different things we've got on this channel. So just keep looking around. What I wanted to kind of just give you is kind of the idea. So if you spend $1,000 getting this book ghostwritten, narrated, and then you get it onto Amazon and you get it onto ACX, and then a couple of months down the line, this book might be making you $600 per month. So if you think about it, within the space of 2 or 3 months, like you're probably not going to make $600 in the first month that the book is launched, but let's say after 3 or 4 months, you've got your initial investment, you've got your initial $1,000 back. So the return on investment is now actually infinite because you've got your initial back. So everything else is just pure profit and it's money that you would never have had before if you didn't make the book. Now, it is important to note that not every book is going to be a winner. So I think when I think about it, probably out of all the high content books that I've written, and even when it comes to low content as well, probably 1 in 5, honestly, if I'm going to be really honest with you, probably 1 in 5 of the books actually really made their money back and then go on and make way more. But what's important to note is that the ones that do succeed and the ones that do win, they should easily pay for the ones that fail as long as you've got the right strategy and you know what you're doing. So for example, I may have spent $1,000 on one book in one series that completely failed and it's maybe only made me $200 or $300 back. But on the next book, maybe it makes me $1,000 per month. So that book is like infinite ROI. And that $1,000 per month is easily paying for the ones which failed. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in there because obviously not every book that you spend money on is going to succeed, no matter what kind of book it is. Like it could even be a high quality, low content book, such as like a shadow work journal that you get really professionally made. Maybe it costs you a couple $100 and maybe it just never sells. But that's like part of the game. And that's obviously what business is. Like you're not guaranteed to make money. It all depends on how you do everything and how you market your books as well. It really depends on a lot of factors. It depends on getting your launch strategy right, getting your reviews right, getting your description right, getting your book cover right. There's a lot of just little things that you've got to do right in order to make it work. But if you are serious about making it work, we teach all of these things inside the Low Content Elite Society. So just click the link in the description if you are interested. And it could also be getting your first VA. So we hire VAs in the Philippines and they usually cost around $450 per month. And that's for a full-time employee. That's paying them like the same wage as a teacher would get. But for me, I know when I hired my first virtual assistant, she made one book that to this day is still my best-selling book and it's made like over $30,000, $40,000 by now. And so the return on that investment is just absolutely bonkers. It's probably like 10,000% or something absolutely insane, which you would never really get with a stock. Yeah, sure, you might get lucky trading AMC or Tesla on 20x leverage on your brokerage account, but the odds are really not in your favor, and most likely you're just going to lose if you're doing something like options trading and you don't really know what you're doing. You're just kind of gambling and YOLOing. So if you do want to learn about virtual assistants, I do have a tutorial about this already on YouTube. But that's kind of the first point, investing in your own business, investing in new books. This is really the way to build up your monthly royalties and get those infinite return on investments. So number 2 is going to be investing in yourself and investing in your education. So obviously this means going to the gym, keeping fit, going for runs, making sure you're in peak shape, because without that, what is really the point of making any money if you are, not feeling yourself or not feeling 100%. So when I think back to my greatest quantum leaps, so the times that my business has like the biggest profit increases or the most significant boom periods, it's always after I've invested in myself. So whether it's spending $100 talking to a mentor, and being told, oh, hey, you should actually get a VA because I think this is going to help you. And then I get the VA and it helps insanely, or whether it's buying a course for like $50 or whether it's buying a course for $500 and you find a niche in there, or you find a strategy in there that you didn't know before, or you find some way to run ads that you didn't know before. Like the value that you get from this can often outweigh the amount that you spend, as long as you're like investing and involved with the right people. And just as a little hint here, the Low Content Elite Society will give you everything you need to evolve to the next level. You can network with a brotherhood and a sisterhood of people who are doing over 5k per month. Not all of them, but there is definitely a few people in our group and in our Discord group who are doing this, and some of them even have books ranked in the top 1,000. So get to know these people, get around them, find out what they're doing, find out what I'm doing. Right now it's only $497 for lifetime access to our brotherhood and sisterhood, and obviously to our private Discord group where we also have group calls as well. So number 3, maybe we're going a little bit conspiracy, maybe we're going a little bit doomerish. However, I do think it's important to mention that you should get yourself some physical assets and uncorrelated assets if you can. Like if you're all in the stock market, or you're all in on, for example, like Dogecoin or whatever these things are, then I think it's important to get yourself something physical, because you never know how crazy this world can go. Like if you told me 2 years ago that we're essentially banned from travel, everybody's wearing masks, and people are getting locked inside their homes in some countries like Australia, people are getting locked inside their homes for literally more than a year, barely even allowed to leave unless they're going to the shop. Like that seems pretty crazy. Like we've kind of gotten used to it, which is even worse, I would say. We've gotten used to it in a way, but that's absolutely insane. So who knows what they'll do next? Like maybe the internet gets turned off. Honestly, nobody knows. Maybe there's a wealth tax where they're taking 10% of your money if you've got over $10,000, whatever it may be. These things can get pretty insane. And wealth taxes are already a thing in certain countries. Like I think it's Argentina. They're taking like 2% of people's money if they've got over a certain amount. And CBDCs are definitely going to be also coming as well. Now what this is a central bank digital currency. So what this basically is instead of having cash and people being able to like transact privately, it's going to be basically money just on your phone. So like essentially like online banking, but it's going to be run by the central banks. So what this means is they can kind of control it a lot better. So maybe they'll set limits and say if you use too much carbon dioxide this month, you're not allowed to spend the money. Or maybe you have a different interest rate to your neighbor or to your mom or to your dad because of your spending habits. And these sound pretty outlandish, but you only have to look over to China and see that they have the social credit scores. And what happens with those is that if you buy, for example, too many video games, or you're doing things that the government doesn't like, they can essentially ban you from being able to buy train tickets and other things like that. So I do think, I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I do think there's going to be more kind of control coming with, especially with these central bank digital currencies. So for this reason, I think it's important to either like live in a place like Florida, like I wish I could, but it's important to own physical things. Like if you can own yourself a property, if you can own some land, if you can own some precious metals, create some relationships with like local farmers who are going to bring you fresh meat and fresh vegetables, where if the supermarkets kind of, all the supply chains break, then at least you've got a source of food and you've got somebody there who can bring you the food, or maybe even like get yourself some animals, I don't know, if you got the space. But yeah, like this sounds a little crazy, but like I say, while I do like stocks and I love KDP, I would just say if you're all in on digital stuff, make sure you're hedged against any of these black swan events. Because at the end of the day, stocks are only numbers on a brokerage account, and if like the government decides the tax rate is now 50% a year, then there's not really much you can do about that. Or if they decide the capital gains tax is 50%, again, there's not much you can do about that, depending on what country. And obviously, like if you're in Dubai, probably not going to happen. But yeah, like I say, we've kind of gotten used to how crazy the world is, but by no means is it normal. If you told us 2 years ago that like the people in Australia were not allowed to leave their country, or the people in Canada, for example, like shout out to everybody in Canada if there's anybody watching from over there. And when I say uncorrelated assets, as I wrote up here, this is like instead of investing in Tesla, which is like maybe a speculative stock, I mean have some kind of things that people are going to value regardless of like what is going on. So if there's a war, for example, then oil is probably still going to be valuable because people need it to like travel around, etc. Uranium, like for energy, etc., etc. Obviously do your own research. None of this is financial advice, but just kind of think about it. What's kind of going to be correlated, what's going to be uncorrelated. If the stock market has like a big drawdown of like 30-40% like in 2008, 2001, 1929, then maybe try and get some things that are not going to go down so much, or even just have some cash as well ready in case the stock market does go down a lot. Yeah, so this last bit seemed a bit conspiracy, but I just think make sure you're investing in new books all the time. This is the fastest way to grow your KDP business. And if you've not got the money to do it, then obviously you've got to make all the books yourself, but that can work as well. And there is lower cost ways to do it as well. Like for example, having a virtual assistant may only cost you $450 per month, but that individual is going to be making you a lot of new books per month. But all of those books increase your probability of getting higher royalties, which is ultimately what we all want at the end of the day. And yeah, invest in yourself, invest in education. If you do want to join our society, you are interested, then drop me a message or just go straight to the sales page. It's only $4.97, and I honestly believe it will take you to the next level. It will evolve your publishing business if you take advice of all the strategies inside, learn everything that I've learned over the last couple of years, and if you also get involved with all of the other members, talk to them, make sure you're doing the right things, and soon you'll be at your royalty goal, which you've been waiting for. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
They wanna count me out before I'm even up. They wanna bring me down, but I don't give a f. They wanna count me out before I'm even up. They wanna bring me down, but it ain't adding up. I got some OG in my blunt. Tell me what you want. I ain't tryna front, yeah. I just came to stun. I got some OG in my blunt.